Okay, welcome again. It's good to see you again. Class number 68. Slowly but surely, step by step, little by little, we are progressing. We're making good progress. We're moving forward. We're entering into for some people, less explored or completely unexplored territory of the language. But we have a lot of work. So let's go to camera number 1. Okay, I'm going to go over the translation list from yesterday because yesterday I didn't finish it. These sentences are rich in meanings and in expressiveness, so we need to be very careful. Esto va contra la política de la compañía. This goes against company policy. This goes against company policy. Me lesioné la espalda en el accidente. I injured my back in the accident. No, in the accident. Accident starts with an A. That's a vowel. And when you have a vowel, the pronunciation of the definite article is the, no the. Yes, I injured my back. Injured my back in the accident. Quiero introducir de forma progresiva la nueva organización. I want to phase in. Excuse the exaggeration, but I think it's necessary. I want to phase in. To phase in. To phase in is normal. I want to phase in the new organization. Así que quieres descontinuar por fases la antigua. So, or then, you want to phase out the old organization. Correct. I want to phase in the new one, and I want to phase out the old one. Los fines de semana para mí son sagrados. Weekends. Los fines de semana. Weekends in general. No, the weekends. Si quisiera especificar, sería the weekends in March are sacred for me. So I'm specifying. And then I use the definite article, the. But if I don't, I can't use an article. Elephants are gray. Tigers are dangerous. Weekends for me are sacred. Weekends for me are sacred. Tengo ganas de acostarme. I feel like going to bed. I feel like sleeping for 20 hours. I'm so tired, I could sleep for 20 hours. I feel like going to bed. Le mandaron al extranjero. They sent him abroad. They sent him abroad. En cuanto supo suficiente inglés para bañarse. As soon as he knew enough English to get by. English. Chiquillo. English. Yes, they sent him abroad as soon as he knew enough English to get by. A juzgar por tu aspecto, yo diría que estás desesperado. Judging by your appearance, I would say you're desperate. Yeah. Judging by your appearance. Because, look, aspect in English is un aspecto tipo faceta. Pero aspecto físico is appearance. Never aspect. Okay? Appearance. A juzgar por tu aspecto. Judging by. A juzgar por. Judging by. Juzgando por. In English. Judging by. Learn that expression. Memorize it. Learn it by heart. Incorporate it into your active English. Es una expresión muy socorrida. Judging by your appearance, I'd say you're desperate. You're desperate to learn English. To learn English. El fin no justifica los medios. The end doesn't justify the means. The end doesn't justify the means. Creo que ha habido un malentendido. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I think there has been. Theirs is the contraction of there has. I think there has been a misunderstanding. I think there's been a misunderstanding. No me importan los problemas de Oriente Próximo or Oriente Medio. I don't care about the problems in the Middle East. Why should I care? They don't affect my life. Every day on television and the internet, I see articles and news programs about the problems in the Middle East. The problems in the Middle East have never affected me personally. I don't care what happens between those countries. They've been fighting for 1 century or maybe for 20 centuries. And I don't care. I don't care. The expression I don't care can be a normal, soft expression, or it can be a very strong expression depending on your intonation, depending on the tone of your voice. Would you like water or milk? I don't care, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care. In a soft tone, I don't care is the same as it doesn't matter. Da lo mismo. Es indiferente. Now, I don't care means me traes sin cuidado. It's a bit strong. If you speak with a strong intonation. I don't care what happens to you. Me importa un comino. I don't care what happens to you. Your welfare is not my concern. Tu bienestar no es mi preocupación. Your welfare is not my concern. I don't really care. And here, no me importan los problemas de Oriente Medio. I don't care about the problems in the Middle East. Yeah, those problems are constant. Every day, they're fighting each other. No solution ever. So why should I care? ¿Por qué preocuparme? Why should I? Why should I care? It doesn't affect my life or my work. My personal life or professional life are completely unaffected by these problems. So I don't care. Cuanto antes mejor. ¿Cómo se dice? Cuanto antes mejor. If you can't answer this question, bam, then you need to be in this course. The sooner the better. So, o sea, cuanto más pronto mejor. The sooner the better, the taller the better, the bigger the better, the smaller the better, the wetter the better, the harder the better, the softer the better. Siempre, always the comparative con the delante. The more difficult, the better. Cuanto más difícil, mejor. The easier, the better. Okay? So, these sentences, these are 12 sentences. The English is very rich and very important. And very socorrido, as you say, very helpful in many different types of situations. The company policy, to phase in, to phase out, to be injured, all right, to go abroad or to be sent abroad, to get by with your English. The end doesn't justify the means, judging by your appearance. I'm desperate, all right? I feel like going to bed, okay? And a misunderstanding. There's been. I think there's been a misunderstanding. I don't care. And finally, the sooner the better. Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes to continue after our next teacher.
Hello, and thank you, Richard. Welcome back. My name is Kyle, and I'm here today with Mario. How are you, Mario?
I'm fine. I got it.
Good. And today we're going to review Class 68. Well, in fact, a summary of Class 67. We're starting Class 68 now. So we're going to take a look at I happen to something, right? So we have by chance, which is what you saw yesterday. So by chance, you know my brother. And you can say, I happen to know
my brother, your brother.
That's right. Now, by chance, you live in the same town.
I happen to live in the same town.
Exactly. By chance, you're very familiar with Cleveland.
I happen to be very familiar with Cleveland.
Yeah, he happens to be very familiar with Cleveland. Okay, and one for you. You love baseball. By chance, you love baseball. I happen to love baseball. What a coincidence, right? I happen to love baseball. Great. Okay, now in the past, by chance, you were there when he arrived.
I happened to be there when you arrived.
Yeah, or he arrived.
When he arrived.
I happened to be there when he arrived. What a coincidence. The king. I happened to be there when the king arrived. I was in the plaza, and there he came in. I happened to be there when he arrived. Great. Now, by chance, you grew up in the same town.
I happened to grow up in the same town.
Very good. By chance, we sat next to each other.
We happened to sit next to each other.
Exactly. We happened to sit next to each other, sure. And now, you want to know. I'm going to tell you something you want to know, and I want you to say, You wouldn't know by any chance.
Okay.
So, you want to know where the boss is.
You wouldn't know by any chance where the boss is.
Good, yeah, you wouldn't know by any chance where the boss is. We can also use this happen to structure. Notice how we say happen to, when we're speaking quickly. You wouldn't happen to know where the boss is, would you? You wouldn't happen to know by any chance where the boss is. You wouldn't happen to know where the boss is, right? Okay, you want to know who Hannah is. Hannah.
You wouldn't know by any chance who Hannah is.
You wouldn't know by
you?
any chance who Hannah is. Yeah, again?
You wouldn't know by any chance who Hannah is.
Very
Would
good. You want to know when the show starts. At home. You wouldn't know by any chance when the show starts. Or you wouldn't happen to know.
You wouldn't happen to know when the show starts.
Yeah, you wouldn't happen to know when the show starts. And we can use the question tag. Would you?
Would you?
You wouldn't happen to know when the show starts, would you? Okay. Very good. Now we saw yesterday as well the translation list. Translation list number 12. So we're going to do a quick review with that. Okay, Mario?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, he's ready. Are you ready at home? You ready? Okay, let's do it. Eso va contra la política de la empresa. Eso va contra la política de la empresa.
It goes against the company's policy.
Eso.
That goes against the company's policy.
Yeah, and we can say the company policy.
The company policy.
That goes against the company policy. That goes against the company policy. Me lesioné la espalda en el accidente.
I got my back hurt.
Let's go injured.
I injured my back in the accident.
In the accident. I injured my back in the accident. Again?
I injured my back in the accident.
Okay, and remember, always out loud at home. I injured my back in the accident. In the accident. Good. Quiero introducir progresivamente la nueva organización.
I want to introduce.
We have a tricky.
Yeah.
We have a phrasal verb here, Mario. At home, do you know this one? Es como introducir énfasis.
I want to phase in.
Yeah.
What was the question?
La nueva organización.
I want to phase in the new organization.
I want to phase in the new organization. At home, did you get that? I want to phase in the new organization. Very good, very good. Okay, entonces, ¿quieres discontinuar progresivamente la antigua? At home? So we had phase in. Entonces, then you want to phase out the old one. We're going to phase in the new one, and we're going to phase out the old one. Right, Mario? Okay. Los fines de semana para mí son sagrados.
Weekends are for me sacred.
Nice. Weekends are for me sacred. Very good. Tengo ganas de acostarme. At home? It's true. Tengo ganas de acostarme. I feel like going to bed. Right, Mario? Can you repeat that one more?
I feel like going to bed.
I feel like going to bed.
I feel like going to bed.
I feel like going to bed. Great. Good job, Mario. Good
you.
job at home. I'll see you next time. We're out of time. Bye-bye.
Welcome back. It's time you start making an effort, don't you think? Yeah, it's about time you start making an effort. Que ya es hora de que empieces a tomar en serio esto, Te advierto. Tengo noticias, tengo informes tuyos. It's about time. Manolo, you. Yeah. Paula, you too. It's time you start making an effort. Well, in fact, I prefer to speak to you a bit more closely, so let's go to camera 1. That's the serious camera. I want to talk seriously with you, okay? Let's change. All right. Es hora de que hagas algo. It's time you do something. It's time you do something. Y si añado la palabra about, it's about time you do something. Es más apremiante todavía, o más urgente, o más, hay más ahínco. It's about time you do something. Ya es hora de que hagas algo, ¿eh? You're a bit too lazy, in my opinion. You're not assuming your responsibilities. You're 24 years old now. You finished your higher education. You have a degree. And I think it's about time you start looking for a job, don't you? It's about time you start looking for a job. Ya es hora de que empieces a buscar un empleo. It's about time you assume your responsibilities as a responsible adult. Do you consider yourself a responsible adult? Well, I think it's time you start considering yourself a responsible adult. Okay? I think it's time. Los británicos dicen eso más. Los americanos casi siempre insertamos about. Los británicos también, cuando quieren añadir más urgencia o más stress, más acentuación a esto. It's about time you assume, ya es hora de que asumas tus responsibilities. It's about time you take on the necessary responsibilities that are typical of an adult. You're not a teenager anymore, and you're not a student anymore, so it's about time you do something constructive with your life, my son. Don't you think? All right? Don't you think? It's about time. Ahora, se usa muchísimo la expresión it's time or it's about time. Oye, ya es hora que lleguen, ¿no? It's about time they come. It's about time they come. It's a very strange expression in English. Let's dissect this expression for a moment and eliminate the contraction and look at every component, every element. It is about time. It doesn't make any sense. There's no grammatical logic in these four words. Ello es acerca del tiempo. Literalmente. It is about time. We always make the contraction. It's about time because it's a frase hecha. Es un inicio de frase hecha. Bueno, es una expresión. It's about time. Es un giro. It's about time. It's about time. It's about time. See, this is it is about time. It sounds so strange. Okay? It sounds as strange as the Spanish expression para adelante. Nobody in Spain says tira para adelante. It says tira pa'lante, pa'lante. And in English, it's about time. It's about time. It's about time. And it never changes. It's about time you go. It's about time you went. Let's look at the second part of the sentence. No han llegado. Ya es hora que lleguen, ¿eh? Okay? O dirías, ya es hora que llegaran. I'm not sure what you say in Spanish. But in English, it's about time they come. Ahora, y llegan. Ya era hora que llegasen ustedes. It's about time you came. Okay? It's about time they come. They haven't arrived yet. It's about time they came. They have arrived. Or let's look at Maria. Maria is the floor manager. And ya es hora de que me indiques los tiempos, eh? It's about time ya es hora de que indiques, no? Los tiempos. It's about time you tell me how much time I have left. How much time do I have left? Do I have 5 minutes, 3 minutes? How much time do I have left? Huh? It's about, don't you think it's about time she gives me the time? Ya está, ya me lo he dicho. Ya era hora de que me dieras la hora. It's about time you gave. Lo que no cambia nunca es la primera parte. It's about time. It always remains in the present tense. It is about time. The second part, ya es hora de que me dé los tiempos. It's about time she gives me the time. Ya era hora de que me diera, entendiendo que ya por fin me lo ha dado. It's about time, invariable, she gave. It's about time she gives. So the change is in the second part of the sentence. Present tense or past tense, basically. It's about time you started studying. Ya era hora de que empezaras ya a estudiar, mi amigo mío. It's about time you started studying. I've been waiting for 67 classes for you to start taking this course seriously. Finally, I see that you're starting to buckle down. Buckle es una hebilla, pero es como abrochar los cinturones. To buckle down and start working a little bit. It's about time. Ya es hora. It's about time. O ya era hora. It's about time. It's about time. If you go and live for 1 month in any country, English-speaking country, Ireland, England, Scotland, Canada, the United States, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, and you spend 1 month working in a professional situation, you will hear the expression, it's about time, probably in 1 month, 500 times. Maybe you won't recognize the expression that I'm teaching because you don't know it, but you will hear it passively. It will penetrate into your ear. It's about time. It's about time. Uf, ya era hora de que el gobierno ya iniciara algunas medidas para esto. It's about time the government did something, don't you agree? It's about time the government decided to step in and solve the problem. You know, we've been having this problem for the past 2 years, and it's growing and growing like a cancer. And the government has been doing nothing. You would say in Spanish, de brazos cruzados. Doing nothing. Yeah. And finally, last week, they decided to start taking a few steps in the right direction. They decided to take action. They decided to start to apply some measures. And it's about time. Don't you think? It's about time they did something. Ya era hora que hicieran algo. It's about time they did something. It's about time. It's about time. It's about time. It's about time they took a few steps in the right direction. It's about time they decided to address the problem. To address, como la dirección o las señas, to address es abordar un problema. Ya era hora que abordaran o empezaran a abordar este problema. It's about time they decided to address this problem, because it's a growing cancer on the civil and economic life in this country. Socially and economically, this problem is creating tremendous tension among the general population. And it's about time the government decided to step in, dar un paso dentro del problema, and begin to address the problems. Don't you think? I hope so. What problem? I don't know. In any case, our sponsors are knocking on the door, so I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, we have only 1 minute. Yeah, I can't do anything in 1 minute, you know. But they have decided, a decision was made upstairs in the control and the producer to give me 2 minutes after the break. I said, oh, it's about time. You know, I've been asking them for 68 classes, I've been asking them. I said, Julio, Julio works up there in El Palomar. Julio, when are you going to give me at least 2 minutes after the station break? And he said, I'll think about it. And I'll think about it. And I've been bothering him, molestándole. I've been bugging him for 4 months about this question. He finally made a decision. Okay, Richard, you have 2 minutes. And I said, it's about time. Ya era hora. It's about time. You gave me. Me dieras. It's about time. Okay? So maybe in the future I'll have 2 minutes. But I have to say goodbye now for the moment, but I'll be back in a few minutes to continue.
Thank you, Richard. Hi, everyone. It's me, Hannah, again, and we're going to do another block with me and my students. So let's say hello and we'll get started. Hi, Marina.
Hi, Hannah.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Great. Thank you for being here.
A pleasure.
We're going to start with an expression, okay? The expression, it's time you did something. Okay, so of course that in Spanish is ya es hora de que hagas algo. So please translate for me. Number 1. Ya es hora de que empieces a tomar el inglés en serio.
It's time you started taking English seriously.
Perfect. Okay, repeat again, please.
It's time you started taking English seriously.
Very good. Excellent. Let me repeat. It's time you started taking English seriously. Yes, I agree. Okay, now if we want to say it with more emphasis, o sea, más énfasis, what do we do? What do we add?
Hi.
Yes,
High time.
Yes, and even before high, about.
Okay, about.
Yes. So we have niveles. So we say it's about time Siguiente nivel, con más énfasis sería it's about time. Y todavía más, aún más, what do we say? We say it's high time. So let's start again. So it's time you started taking English seriously. Siguiente nivel, con más intensidad.
It is about time, or it's about time you started taking English seriously.
Excellent. So it's about time you started taking English seriously. And todavía más énfasis.
It's high time you started taking English seriously.
Okay, very good. So again, so we have tres niveles, digamos, right? So it's about time you started taking English seriously. Y ahora intensificamos un poco más, con más énfasis. It's about time you started taking English seriously. Y todavía más, con más énfasis, we say it's high time, right? It's high time you started taking English seriously. Okay, great job. More examples. Translate. Ya es hora de que te cases.
It's time you got married.
Great, repeat.
It's time you got married.
Okay, now ahora más énfasis.
It's about time you got married.
Okay, repeat again.
It's about time you got married.
Okay, ahora más, todavía más.
It's high time you got married.
Vale, okay, me caso. Okay. So Marina said, it's about time you got married, and then más, it's high time you got married. Now, fijaos muy bien. Notice here that even in Spanish we use present simple, right? Ya es hora de que te cases. But in English, ¿qué tiempo verbal usamos aquí? Pasado simple. We're using past simple. So remember, it's about time you got married. It's high time you got married. Uy, when you say that expression, you sound like my mom. Because my mom always says, hija, ya, por favor, cásate ya, que se te pase el arroz. Vale. Okay. Okay, so next example. Ya es hora de que escuches la verdad.
It's the time you listen to the truth.
Okay, good. Listened to. Now, usually you say you heard the truth.
All right.
Yes. So repeat again.
It's the time you heard the truth.
Okay, very good. So here, it's time you heard the truth. It's time you heard the truth. Ahora, con más intensidad.
It's about time you heard the truth.
Excellent. It's about time you heard the truth. Y ahora más, todavía más.
It's high time you heard the truth.
Excellent, bien. And Marina, sí, lo ha dicho incluso, she said it with more, fervor, right? So it's high time you heard the truth. It's about time you heard the truth. Y it's time you heard the truth. Another example. Ya es hora de que termines tus estudios.
It's time you finished your studies.
Excellent. It's time you finished your studies. Next.
It's about time you finished your studies.
Very good. Okay, and más.
It's high time you finished your studies.
Very good. Okay, great. So as you can see, even Marina, as she went from the lowest level and then more intensity and then finally the most intensity, even her voice, her intonation, her facial expression, right? It went along with the different levels of emphasis. So it's time you finished your studies. And then más intensidad, she said, it's about time you finished your studies. And then finally, the final level, it's high time you finished your studies. Ya es hora de que nos devuelvan la llamada.
It's time they phoned back.
Okay,
What?
very good. They called
Called
us
back, okay.
Yes, mejor. Okay, repeat.
It's time they called us back.
Excellent, very good. So, devolver la llamada is to call someone back or to call back, right? So it's time they called us back, because here the example was, ya es hora de que nos devuelvan la llamada, a nosotros. So it's time they called us back. It's time they called us back. Now, más intensidad.
It's about time they called us back.
Good, and todavía más.
It's about time they
It's
called.
high time.
It's high time they called us back.
Excellent, very good. So it's time they called us back. Más enfático, we say it's about time they called us back. Y todavía más, it's high time they called us back. De verdad. What took so long? Okay, another example. Ya es hora de que trates con ellos.
It's time you dealt with them.
Perfect. Excellent. Repeat again.
It's time you dealt with them.
Excellent. First, let's take a look at the verb. Again, tratar con. Remember, the verb is to deal with. Tratar con, to deal with. Pasado, what do we say?
Dealt.
Excellent. Great pronunciation from Marina. So the past of deal is dealt. Dealt. Rima con cinturón. It rhymes with belt. Belt. So dealt, belt. Okay? But ojo, be very careful. It's spelled differently. It doesn't have the same spelling, but it does rhyme. The same pronunciation. So again, it's time you dealt with them. Right? Ya es hora de que trates con ellos. It's time you dealt with them. Okay, y más, con más énfasis.
It's about time you dealt with them.
Perfect. ¿Y todavía más?
It's high time you dealt with them.
Very good. Okay, great. So it's time you dealt with them. Más énfasis. It's about time you dealt with them. Y todavía más, it's high time you dealt with them. Okay, last example. Ya es hora de que ganen un partido.
It's time they won a match.
Great. Okay, next. Next level.
It's about time they won a match.
Good. And todavía más.
It's high time they won a match.
Very good. Excellent. So remember the 3 levels of emphasis. It's time they won a match, it's about time they won a match, and it's high time they won a match. Okay? Take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.
All right. Once upon a time, there was a little girl by the name of Little Red Riding Hood. Caperucita Roja. Érese una vez. Once upon a time. Curiosa expresión, también en español. Érese una vez. ¿Por qué no se dice una vez había o hubo? But no, you say érase. Se era. Strange. But in English, una vez en un tiempo is equally strange or worse. Once upon a time, there was a little girl by the name of Little Red Riding Hood, etc., etc., etc. Lo que no decimos es érase dos veces. Twice upon a time, we don't say. And you don't say in Spanish either. But we have the words once and twice in English. And I'm going to spend this segment talking about once and twice. But on camera, one. Okay. Once, twice. One time, 2 times. One time is correct. You don't need to say once. Escrito 11, como el número 11. Once. Se pronuncia once, como el pasado de to win, o como el número 1. One, once. Once. Twice. Thrice. But nobody says thrice, but it exists. Sometimes people say thrice simply to be eloquent or to be expressive or as a figurative joke, okay? Thrice. I have had problems with Maria thrice today. No, 3 times, okay? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 20 times, okay? Una vez, 2 veces, 3 veces. Once, twice, 3 times, okay? Twice. Interesting expression, twice. It's very pretty, the word. I like the word twice. 2 times. But many times we say 2 times. Knock 2 times on the ceiling. Da, 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 da. Knock 2 times. Knock twice. Okay, once I saw. It's exactly the same in Spanish as English, the use. But the placement can vary. Una vez fui a Londres solo. Once I went to London alone. Or I once went to London alone. Or I went to London alone once. But if you put once at the end of the sentence, it obligates you to change the intonation of the sentence. I went to London alone once, you know. Yeah, once, twice. How many times? How many times? Well, ask me how many times I've gone to Istanbul. Richard, how many times have you gone to Istanbul? I've gone there twice. Lo que no puedo decir es I've twice gone there. Twice siempre, al final siempre. I've gone there twice. And ask me how many times I've gone to Athens. Richard, how many times have you been to Athens? Bueno, been, hecho gone. But it's the same, isn't it? It doesn't make any difference, right? In this case, no, it doesn't make any difference. In fact, it's more common. How many times have you been to Athens? I've been there twice as well. I've been to Istanbul twice, and I've been to Athens twice. Ask me how many times I've been to Naples. Naples? Naples, in the south of Italy. Yes, the Bay of Naples. And behind Naples, you can see the volcano Vesuvius. Okay. Ask me how many times I've been to Naples or gone to Naples. How many times have you been to Naples? How many times have you been to Naples? I've been there just once. Just one, only once, quiere decir. Claro, just, only. In this case, just once. I've only been there once. But once I was planning to go, but then I canceled the trip. But I've only been there once. Ask me how many times I've been to Cairo. Well, how many times have you been to Cairo? The capital of Egypt? The capital of Egypt? The capital of Egypt? I've been there just once. Just once. Ask me how long ago that was. How long ago was that? How long ago was that? That was about 7 years ago. Yeah. I've only been there once. Well, it depends on your definition of once. I flew to Cairo, spent the first 2 days in Cairo. Then I flew to Aswan and spent some days in the south of Egypt, and then in Luxor. And then I went back to Cairo and spent another 2 days. So in all, I spent 4 days in Cairo, but 2 different visits on the same trip. So what's your conclusion? Have I been there only once, or have I been there twice? Really, because it was one single trip. It was a single trip, about 8 or 9 day trip. I would say I've been to Cairo just once. I haven't been there twice, even though during that trip I was in Cairo on 2 different occasions and in 2 different hotels each time, in a different hotel each time, in a different location in the city. So I've been there twice, technically twice, but in reality I think I've been there only once because it was on the same trip. All right, now ask me how many times I've been to Mexico City. Richard, how many times have you been to Mexico City? Just once. I've only been there once. I've just been there once. I've only been there once. But I'd like to go back. Really, it's too big and polluted. No, but Mexico City, I love to see the Zócalo. I love to see the Chapultepec. I love to see Xochimilco. I love to see all the Guadalupe, the Virgen de Guadalupe, the things that are typical of Mexico City, I still like to see. All right? So maybe someday I'll go back. Who knows? Maybe in the near future. ¿Cómo se dice en el próximo futuro? In the near, cercano en inglés. In the near future. Maybe in the near future I'll go back. Ask me how many times I've been to Buenos Aires. Richard, how many times have you been to Buenos Aires? I haven't been there yet. I've never been there. You've never been to Buenos Aires? Wow. You don't know what you're missing. It's a beautiful city. Very cosmopolitan, very European, and very, very pretty. That's what they say. I've never met a person who didn't like Buenos Aires. Never. So apparently it's a very nice place to visit. But I imagine I'll get there someday. I imagine I'll get there someday. Once, twice, and 3 times. Ask me how many times I've been to Edinburgh. To where? To Edinburgh. What city is that? Oh, it's the most beautiful city and the capital of Scotland. Edimburgo, hombre. Edinburgh. ¿Cómo lo dice? How do you say it? Well, really, the Americans say Edinburgh. But the people in Scotland and England say Edinburgh. Edinburgh. Okay? And so I'm copying a bit the the local way of saying it, or the British way. Edinburgh. Ask me how many times I've been to Edinburgh. Richard, how many times have you been to Edinburgh? I've been there 3 times. I haven't been there just once, and I haven't been there twice. I've been there 3 times, and I highly recommend it. Se dice altamente. I highly recommend it. It's a very beautiful city. Small, but very beautiful and very historical. Okay, I'll be back after our next teacher to close the show for today.
everyone. Hola, soy Leila. My name is Leila, and today we're going to practice what you've seen with Richard. I'm here with David. David, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Ask them how they're doing.
How are you doing?
How are you? One more time with...
How are you doing?
Okay, doing. It's a nasal sound, doing.
Okay.
And it's a question, right? How are you doing?
How are you doing?
Very good, okay. Are you ready to practice? Are you ready to practice?
Yes, I'm ready to practice.
Okay, good, because that's the only way to do it. Es la única manera. Practice, and practice. We're going to start off with vocabulary. Vamos a empezar con vocabulario. The 5 new words of the day. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. That's what I want to hear. Okay, the first one is los 40. Okay, los 40. David?
The 40s?
Exactly, the 40s, okay? The 40s, or we could also say the long form, the 1940s. The 1940s, but in the short form, the 40s.
Okay.
It's a lot easier when you're talking about things that happened at that time. Can you give me an example of something that happened in the 40s?
Okay.
La Segunda Guerra Mundial.
Okay.
A lot of people make mistakes with that, saying...
The Second World War.
Exactly. Okay, so the Second World War, okay? Or we could also say World War II,
Okay.
which is more natural. Okay, native speakers say World War II.
Okay. World War II
Uh-huh.
was in the 40s.
Exactly. Was in the 40s, okay? Or took place in the 40s.
Uh-huh.
Tuvo lugar. Okay? Good. The next one. Grosor.
Thickness.
Thickness. Okay? Thickness. Very good. Okay? Thickness. This one has the th sound. Sticking your tongue out between your teeth. Thickness. Very good. Lo estáis haciendo igual de bien. You're doing it the same, right? Okay. The third one is territorio.
Territory.
Okay, territory. Open your mouth a lot. In English, we always open our mouth a lot. Territory. Okay, much better. Okay? Territory. Poniendo la punta de la lengua en el paladar. Like this. T. And you let air out. Territory. Okay, good. All right. The fourth one. Teórico.
Theoretical.
Okay? Theoretical. Can I hear you say it one more time?
Theoretical.
Very good. Okay, fantastic. And the last one. Okay, last but not least, como decimos siempre. What is this? Tomárselo con tranquilidad.
Take it easy.
Exactly. Take it easy. Okay. Take it easy. Podemos hacer linking with the consonant vowel. Take it easy. Okay? Consonant vowel. So it sounds like one word. Take it easy. Very good. Okay, but I want to hear the sound in easy because it's not easy, it's easy with a Z sound. Okay, la S mosca, the Z.
Take it easy.
Very good. Okay, take it easy now with feeling.
Take it easy.
Again.
Take it easy.
Very good. Okay, now we're going to go on to the grammar part of the day, which is once and twice. Okay, we don't say one time or 2 times. We say once or twice. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you in Spanish and I want you to translate. He estado en Bilbao una vez y en San Sebastián 2 veces. Translate it for me.
I've been once to Bilbao.
Okay, I've been to. He estado en, we always use the to.
I've been to Bilbao once and to San Sebastian.
Okay, you don't need to repeat the to because it's the same subject.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been to
Bilbao once and San Sebastian twice.
Exactly. Okay, fantastic. Ask me how many times I've been to Vietnam.
How many times have you been to Vietnam?
2, not 2.
2. How many times have you been to Vietnam?
Vietnam. I've been to Vietnam once. Ask me how many times I've been to Thailand.
How many times have you been to Thailand?
Thailand.
Thailand.
There's a D at the end.
Thailand.
Okay? I've been to Thailand once. How many times have I been to Thailand? Hold on a second. How many times have I been to Thailand?
You've been to Thailand once.
Okay, good. How many times have I been to Vietnam?
You've been to Vietnam twice. Once?
Once, only
Okay,
once. Only
okay.
once. Maybe twice in the future. Maybe I'll
Okay.
go again. Okay? Ask me how many times I've played poker. Poker with cards.
Okay. How many times have you played poker?
I've played poker only once. Ask me how many times I've gone snowboarding.
How many times have you gone snowboarding?
Very good. I've gone snowboarding once. How many times have you been to Madagascar?
I've never been to Madagascar.
Okay, good. I was trying to trick you. Quería saber si lo vas a decir bien. Perfect. Okay,
Okay.
I've never been to when it's negative. Okay?
Okay.
Very good, very good. Ask me how many times I've gone skiing.
How many times have you gone skiing?
Okay, good. All right, but I don't hear the intonation.
How
Then-
many times have you gone skiing?
Very good. Okay, remember the intonation is super important. I've gone skiing only once. Only once. And very good. Remember, once, twice. No decimos nunca one time and 2 times. Okay, so una vez,
Once.
dos veces.
Twice.
One more time. Una vez,
Once.
dos veces.
Twice.
Okay, once, twice. Twice, remember with the T, twice, once. Thank you. Thank you. Y os paso con Richard.
Okay, that's it for today. We're finished. But you're the advanced group. You're the advanced people, the super intelligent. I would recommend that you also watch the intermediate segment if you have time. And even that you close your eyes and hold your nose and jump into the beginner section to clarify a lot of very basic notions that perhaps you don't have very well grasped. It's 9 months of classes. These are a lot of classes. Some of the classes, some segments are very easy. Once, twice, 3 times. But remember, this is 195 hours for you at the high level over 9 months. And you can watch each program once, twice, 3 times on the internet, on the weekends, etc. You can empaparos. You can just shower yourself with English. And if you do the other programs too, intermediate and beginner, you can change your English enormously in only 1 year with us. Good luck.